Good day everyone and welcome to the Flux Media channel. Here we are today to talk about the SPAT Send plugin and the preferences on the actual plugin and SPAT Revolution and how we configure both to actually complete this integration. Like any plugins, this is where you instantiate an actual plugin. So we'll do the exact same thing with SPAT Revolution Send. Hitting the plugin page, you can actually see that there's already multiple instances in this show file. We actually have something like 66, 67 instances. But we'll actually take an empty slot right now to insert one brand new one. Pull down menu, you need to be in config mode as usual. You will have the option of mono or stereo if you're trying to move an audio, mono object or a stereo object. Obviously you'll be picking the right input configuration. Let's just take a mono for now. With the mono page, you see a pull down menu with categories and you will find SPAT Send plugin in the sound field category. We'll just choose it and there we are. Now we aren't going to deal with inserting it on the channel right now. We're just going to look at the preferences. Let's double click on this. We are in the plugin itself. Now the first thing I want to bring to your attention is the index number. You see index 68 right now, and this is a unique number, and the reason is 68 is that we have already 67 instances in that show file. These number uniques, they are snapshotable, so you could actually change index numbers. Now you want to make sure that you understand the fact that index 68 does mean audio source 68 in the SPAT Revolution software. Okay, in IP, out IP, what is this? What is that story? Well, quite simply, we are using OSC, Open Sound Control, which is basically the parameters being sent over network between both applications. Now, the console is not an OSC capable console per se, but the plugin does provide that capability. So the communication between the console and SPAT Revolution is done in OSC, and networking is actually involved there. You basically have a target address and a listening address, right? You're outputting a command and you can actually input. Outputting is quite easy to understand, and moving a parameter, you want those OSC commands to go to the SPAT Revolution, but you want the reverse as well. Why is this? If you're moving an object in SPAT, or actually a third-party controller of some sort that's actually moving an object into SPAT, you want to be updating the parameters on the console as well, so they could be snapshotted, for example. So this is the bidirectional communication that we have for you in this case. Okay, let's talk about those right now. First setting, the in IP. This is the network interface that I'm receiving those OSC commands. If I actually click here, I get a pull down that gives me three options. Basically, it gives me the 192 address and a 169. The 192 right now does represent my ECX port on the console. And why is there a 192 address? Because I have a router on that particular one with a DHCP server that gave it that address. Now, I would be using that address if this integration was done on the ECX port. Now, in today's session, we're actually using the 169 address. And why is this? We are using the C port of the console, the standard port you use for Pro Tools integration. This is the port we're actually using right now, and that we have the SPAT computer connected on. We're doing all this in AVB audio, same computer, right, as the control and the audio, same port, same network interface. So that is the in IP. On the second thing, you have the input port number, and that is very important. It's basically a port number, a port slot, if you want to see it like that. So this will be very important when we move to the SPAT Revolution software later. Will be important to have the output port on one side to be actually the exact same input port on the other side, right? Out to in, port numbers got to be corresponding numbers. So you actually have those. You're not obliged to change it on the console, really, but you're going to be using those actual port number later on in the SPAT software. Moving on, the out IP, this is where you do not get an actual pull down, but you get an actual address. And that address is what? That address is the actual IP address of that computer. How do you find this? Well, we'll find it later on in the SPAT Revolution software. You could go in their network properties as well to find that IP address. We're going to be dialing this address. In this particular case today, my Mac computer right there has a 169.254.1.201 address, and this is why it's there. Basically, my output OSC commands are being sent to that IP address. Same goes on for the output port number. Same story we've talked about. Output port number is 53700 here. We're going to be using input 53700 on the other one. And that's pretty much it. That's all what's involved with setting the preferences on it. You do have the option of an Osc Second Output. Why is this? Think about redundancy. You're doing something live performance, a theatrical show. You may have two computers, two SPAT engine running simultaneously, but you want to be sending the commands to both machines. And that's it. We are set with the preferences. We can right now insert it on any channel, and then, well, we're actually going to be looking at moving parameters of that plugin. Now we are in our SPAT Revolution software. I'm going to have you press the preferences on the top right corner, and this is where we'll be able to set our Osc connections. Just to start, we want to make sure that in the Osc main section that Osc is enabled, and I will have you right now enable command log, and we'll get back to this in 2 seconds. On the Osc connection sides per se, you have 6 slots, and we're currently using 4, 1 in and out for the console, and I actually will have 1 in and out for a Lemur iPad controller right now. We'll be focusing on the console one, the 2 first slots. Pull down menu, basically you decide every single slot. Are they an input, an output, or none, basically nothing. So we have chose as the input for the first one. And now as we've decided that this is an actually Osc input, we have a pull down menu to decide on which network interface. And in this particular case, we've talked about this a bit briefly before. We are using the AVB audio. That is the actual network interface. So I'm choosing this particular one. This is my IP address, which actually, if you look at the console right now at the plugin page, you are seeing the out IP as the exact same address, 169.254.1.201. In the port number, this is the input port number. We want to have the corresponding output port on the console. Output port number 53700. You have 53700 on this one. So you'll dial manually the proper port number, enter, and that's it. In the actual checkboxes right here, the only one that we're interested in is sources. We only are moving sources with the SPAT Send. Now, there are possibilities to move rooms, master control, and other parameters OSC-wise, but right now today we're only interested in moving sources. That's it. We're done on the input. On the output side, basically you choose output. This is what's going from SPAT to the console to update the console. IP address, there's no pull down here. We're basically going to decide on which IP address we're sending the Osc command. And in this particular case, if you look at the console again, on the IM IP, you see 169.254.87.55. This is what I entered here, and this is actually sending the commands to that address. Port number, same thing, output on the actual SPAT software. So we're going to be looking at the input port number, 53706. You're right, 53706, enter, and you are done. Make sure that source is selected or is checked, and that's it. We have a bidirectional communication right there. As I said, there's 2 other slots were used for the Lemur controller with a different network interface. Little shortcut for you, Shift F7 will bring the command log. And the reason you want this will allow you to confirm Osc commands are being sent. So if you're actually not sure, it's a great troubleshooting tool. So let's right now hit the binaural room. And if we actually take an object and move it, we are seeing the Osc command being sent, and they are being sent to the 169.294.254.87.55. They are being sent to the console. Actually, if I was to look at the console, I would see those settings being updated. We'll do the opposite right now. Let me move to the console quick. I'm actually going to go to that object. And as I am moving, you're actually seeing the commands coming in the Osc. And that's it. We've confirmed with that troubleshooting log that we actually have communication. And that's it. We are really at this point ready. We've got bidirectional communication. And we can now move on to the next steps, which will obviously be actually controlling plugin parameters straight from the console and encoders. And this is it for a session for today. Hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for more. If you do have any question about this actual integration or any technical question about what we're showing here, feel free to hit us with an email and we'll be happily responding to you as fast as possible. In the meantime, enjoy your immersive audio.